Welcome back to another Epidose of these crazy people that just keep eating meat and can't stop talking about it. Me and Justin here. I'm Tom. This is Justin. We're doing a short ribs for Meat Mosaic. We do both long and short format videos. The short ribs tend to be the shorter ones if we can stop talking at some point. We appreciate you guys watching, and we hope you leave us your comments below. Hope you send a link on for this video to people who might enjoy it or benefit from it. Help us grow the channel, because that's really the only way it grows. So what's our topic today there, Justin?
Yeah, I'll just want to hang on for just a minute. Make sure that those watching, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Throw a steak on it, throw some eggs on it, throw a little bacon on there. I don't know, maybe throw some pork rinds on the like button, subscribe button, hit that notification bell that it might help you, let you know that, hey, we just put out a new video. It could be a short rib, it could be a longer video, which we're tentatively terming long bones. But yeah, we enjoy, thanks for sticking with us, and we hope to see you in this video and the next video. But today's topic is under eating on a keto or carnivore diet. This is something that me and Tom have noticed throughout the community, more or less, and we're not going to name names or drag anybody or flame anyone or anything like that. But there's people that they'll be doing this for a year and a half, two, maybe something like that. And then they feel that they need to add in carbohydrates, typically is what the response is. You know, they're feeling tired, or they're having some cramping, or just, oh, my hair's falling out and I got a thyroid issue, things like that, which I'm not saying that their issues that they might be struggling with aren't real. It's just the correlation is not causation, right? So they think, oh, you know, I added in a banana a day, or I added in some more fruit, or I added in some white rice, and I felt better. And, oh, this problem went away, or this is better. And that's good for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. And yeah, they're probably still keeping their, well, depending on who you talk to, certainly their carbohydrate and sugar intake is lower than that of the typical Westerner or typical person. Yes, that is true. But some of them are having carbohydrates up to 100, 200 grams a day. And that gives me cause for concern personally. It has nothing to do with ketosis. It has more to do with Randall cycle, which is a different video. But when we dig into what they've been eating, how they've been eating, you look at their plates, you know, oftentimes some of these people have Instagram, so you can see what they're typically eating in a day. And there's kind of this pattern of a lot of OMAD, so a lot of one meal a day, and a lot of barely 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, roughly. And they'll be open about that. You know, being protein phobic a little bit, and or being really high fat, you know, 80% fat, and doing that for months, possibly a year at a time. And so me and Tom have been looking at that, and, you know, in this community, fasting, how long can you fast? Oh, I just got done doing a 36-hour, man. I'm doing rolling OMADs. I'm doing, and to at a certain point, I feel like it becomes unhealthy and it's hurting people. And I'm not saying that people are spreading this information on purpose, or they're trying to intentionally hurt people or anything like that. People want to belong. People want to feel like they're part of the group. And many people feel at home in the carnivore community. Many people feel at home in a fasting community. I just think combining the two for some people may not be the smartest idea. And this is where it comes down to the individuation with the carnivore diet. There is a way to do it wrong. You know, I know it's the whole vegan joke. Oh, you did it wrong. No, there are ways to do carnivore wrong. You can starve yourself if you're not eating enough protein, especially. You know, yeah, if your body just eats a bunch of fat that you have stored on, that's typically not a horrible thing, but you can get some energy dips and things like that too if you're not getting enough fat as well. And so I just look at all this, and for a bunch of people that came from a variety of different things with eating, and I think a part of it is a lot of the people did have an eating disorder or do have an eating disorder, typically on the eating too much side of things, of the spectrum. And so they're scared to eat. They're scared of food, right? Even though everything about in this community is about meat and fat, animal products are the most nutritious, most bioavailable, is the actual only food. It's the species appropriate food, right? And so it's weird to me that in this community, there is a great fear of food. 3 eggs and 6 ounces of steak is probably not good enough, sweetie. I'm sorry. Even if you're a woman, I'm sorry. That's, you need to add in extra six, maybe a pound of bacon on top of that.
Wait, are we talking about food or are we working out your relationship issues?
Can it be both? I thought this was therapy. Sorry, maybe they clicked on the wrong Zoom link. But yeah, I'm on Instagram. When I see people's plates, I'm probably one of the few voices out there being like, I think you need to add some more food. Like, I'm constantly trying to encourage people to eat more. People look at me, I get it. I'm slender, I'm small. No, I've never struggled with weight. It's never been one of my big issues. But I can put it away. I think the other day, so I weigh 144 pounds, and the other day I had something like 2,900 calories, something like 260 grams of protein, and like another 150 in fat, and so close to almost double, almost 2 times gram of protein per my pound of body weight. And I haven't gotten the scale yet, but I don't feel bigger. You know what I mean? And yeah, I work out. Yeah, I take walks. There's other stuff I do. I get it. I'm not totally just sitting there. And yeah, it's just this weird food phobia, pro fasting mentality in the carnivore community. And me and Tom have fallen into that too. So you talked to us last year, we would have been, oh, I'm doing this fast. I want to fast. Oh man, I was doing time restricted eating. I was really big into that, like to where I was watching the clock, where I feel like is where it starts to get unhealthy is, crap, I ate at 9 o'clock last night. So shit, I can't eat until 10 or 12 or whatever the next day. Right. And so you're watching the clock. And I hated that. I hated that feeling of anxiety of I'm hungry. I know I'm hungry, but I can't eat because it's not whatever time, or, oh shit. Well, I had to work a little extra. So now it's 8 o'clock. I should have eaten at 6. Do I just fast the whole day because it'd be bad for me for whatever reason to eat at 8 o'clock? And that there is some people with sleep issues and things like that. They eat too late, but I honestly think that can be trained out, but that might be later in this discussion. And yeah, and so I see deficiencies, I see concerns. You have protein sparing modified fasting, and especially people in the beginning. People have a really hard time, I've noticed, finishing off their first year strong. We just got done with the holidays. Typically, the people I see falling off the first year, typically around the holidays, are the people that were doing intermittent fasting or OMAD while being carnivore. 90% of the time. It's because they're not being full. If you have a sugar addiction or a carbohydrate addiction, or you're going to go to this family thing and your mom makes a bomb big brownie or something like that, and that's your weakness, you can't be showing up to that place fasted. It's not going to work. You're going to get hungry. You're going to break down. It's just going to happen. We can't white knuckle our way through this, and so why not, even if the timing doesn't work out, go to the event full, and even if you're full and there's some chicken wings to snack on the chicken wings. Like, that's another thing I wanted to bring up in this video is the snacking phobia. oh, you're not supposed to snack. I'm going to commit carnivore sin right now. So I got myself some cream cheese. I got myself some pork rinds. I'm going to have some cream cheese and pork rinds. Go ahead,
Oh,
Tom.
well, he's having some cream cheese and pork rinds, which I find a tasty snack myself. I'm gonna dial it back a little bit and come at it from a slightly different angle. Because number one, I want to say that we're all kind of programmed, no matter what diet we're from, to kind of want to undereat. And I think that is one of the things that Justin and I both figured out when we started wearing health trackers. We started realizing that we frequently were under eating. And like you said, in the space where, there's a lot of talk of fasting and OMAD and stuff like that, I think fasting is a powerful lever to pull, but I don't think it's necessarily the way to thrive as a lifestyle. So, and it doesn't necessarily work for everybody. In fact, I don't think it works for a lot of people. So you combine that with the fact that it's just easy to undereat, especially if you eat a diet rich in fat. You've got plenty of fuel and probably not enough protein. It just seemed like we were running into person after person who seemed to be under eating and then not thriving. They had one issue or another. Anything from not sleeping to their hair falling out or whatever it was, or they were getting sick with this or that, or they didn't have energy. um you know J- Justin and I both have like our personal sort of fitness goals, and I don't think, even though it does seem like it's easier to do things like cardio in a fasted state, I noticed I wasn't really making any progress at it if I tried to do it in a fasted state, because I think it set the pace for the whole day of just being under fueled and not recovering and not making gains. And I definitely never felt like weightlifting did well in a fasted state if I was weightlifting. So and then you add into that I could on a day with a long workout, I needed at least 5,000 calories, and there's no way I'm gonna get that in one meal. So some people like Justin can sit down and eat more food at one time than I can. um I never really enjoyed stuffing myself. And I know lots of carnivores are like, oh yeah, man, I just shovel it in until I can't put one more bite in my mouth. And I'm like, I never enjoyed eating like that. So, and this is one of the reasons why we decided to do our big exercise for starting in tomorrow, January 1st, was to eat frequently, eat a lot of small meals frequently, and eat to hunger. And we started tracking everything because we were curious. Well, will we naturally undereat and by how much? Because a lot of people who do this find themselves getting improved body composition. And sort of for me, the allure was that a lot of people are actually able to put on muscle and lose body fat while eating this way, which a lot of people say you can't because you're either in a state of hypertrophy or a state of an anabolic state. But I think just like we can cycle in and out of ketosis throughout the day, we can also cycle in and out of fat burning and muscle building. I think it can be done. And I think that the emphasis on fasting and eating high fat all the time has actually been detrimental to a lot of people. I don't think it works for everyone. Part of that is in the beginning, it seems like people do really well on a really high fat carnivore diet. They seem to do a lot of healing in the beginning, but then I think people start to change. I think their bodies get more efficient. Excuse me. And once you've done a certain amount of healing and then you set exercise goals and you're trying to put muscle on or build endurance or something like that, and I think you need more fuel. So, and I think that having a highly satiating diet where you're actually under eating makes it really easy to not get enough nutrition. So yeah, I think a lot of people out there might need to turn around and look and see if what they're doing is working for them or if it stopped working for them at some point. and consider that maybe they're just under eating, because it is really easy to do. And I don't think, putting people, it's like the whole thing about people not sleeping enough, it's like they glorify people who don't sleep, like that's a great thing. I think people need enough sleep and they need enough food. And then it's up to the individual to work out that sort of ratio of fat to protein. So, and like I said, I think that's going to change over time. So, anyways, I think we come to carnivore with a lot of baggage from other walks of life. Like I said, if you're not into carnivore or keto or anything like that, people are always telling you all these tricks on how to eat less. So drink a big glass of water so you don't feel hungry. Eat lots of fiber so you feel full longer. That mindset's drilled into us as though the eating was the problem instead of just eating the wrong food. So, and I think as much as if you just want to drop some pounds and you want to do OMAD or a confined feeding window, a lot of people meet their goals that way, but I don't necessarily think that's a lifestyle that's healthy for people over the long term. And I know some people, they only fast 6 months out of the year and they feast the other 6 months and stuff like that. And maybe that works for some people, but when you step back, that's kind of arbitrary too. So why would you feast for 6 months and then fast for 6 months? I don't know. I mean, it worked for some people, but does it work for their whole life, or does it work for a year or two? So that's kind of my question. So, and I think the message of frequent feeding has just kind of been lost in the background, even though it's a technique that's been used by a lot of people to achieve a lot of goals. So, anyways, I just think people ought to consider that they might be under eating.
Yeah, and I just wanted to throw in two more points. One, that the state of ketosis, right? A lot of people, especially those that fell off and are trying to get back in, they're like, oh man, I felt that carnivore zen. I knew I was in ketosis. I knew I was making those good ketones. Maybe they're tested on P strips, or maybe they're poking their blood. They're like, oh, I know if I could just get back in that state of ketosis, I'll feel great again. And that so they're racing for that. So they're like, okay, I'm just going to eat one meal a day because I want to get in the ketosis as soon as possible again, right? But it's like, wait, let's roll things back, because yeah, okay, maybe you were in a high state of ketosis, we were able to do that, but obviously there was something there that was missing, and typically nutritionally, that you came off, right? Otherwise, that other food really wouldn't have had effect on you. You weren't staying full. You weren't staying nutritionally dense in your cells and things like that. It's my theory. And so I wouldn't be, I'm never worried about the state of ketosis. I've tested all that stuff. Me and Tom have talked about it before. To me, the healing of the carnivore diet is the nutrition, is the bioavailable nutrition. And so to me, it's always eat more, and again, that was a person that was doing OMADs, and they're like, oh, I need to do OMADs again so I can get back into ketosis as soon as possible. It's like, you need to build a foundation. The worst thing you can do is jump right into this diet. Well, maybe not the worst thing you can do, but changing your diet rapidly, A, not the best idea for a variety of reasons, but B, if you don't build the skills of getting used to eating a bunch of meat, eating carnivore, eating regularly, and then once you've developed that as a foundation, then you can play with fasting, in my opinion. Most people I work with, I do not recommend they fast in their first year of carnivore. I typically want people eating 3 meals a day. If they can tolerate dairy, great, let's throw it in. If they can tolerate eggs, great, let's do it in. If they can tolerate fish, let's throw it in. Eat, pig
Yeah,
out on meat. Get
I
used
kind
to
of
that.
I kind of throw fasting in that group with supplementing, right? It's like whether you're supplementing organ meats or taking pills or whatever, it's like, if you're going to do it because you got a clear reason why, right? Don't just do it because everybody else is doing it, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get it. If you've been carnivore for a year, you've been strict, compliant rather, and you've got some body weight that you want to try and, there's that extra maybe 20 pounds that you're trying to knock off some. I get it. It's a tool, and I get that. But I'm trying to get people nutritionally full and to where psychologically, emotionally, and biologically they feel the nutrition of only eating animal products. And that takes a while to check all those boxes. I think it takes longer than people think. And you, like we've talked about before, you can't do too much at one time. Otherwise you get kind of turned around. And I want people not just go through a year. Now, again, it's their own choice, but if you could do a year of carnivore, great. But man, feeling what it's like on the second year is a whole nother level. And sadly, there's a bunch of people that will never get to that second year if they're trying to fast, because they're gonna, I'm not saying for everybody, but those truly addicted to carbohydrates and sugar, they're gonna break. It's gonna be, it's gonna be a bad day with the right donut or sweet treat in front of them, and they're done. And I think that's sad, and the best way to go to circumvent that is to get them used to just shoveling down meat. Sounds terrible, down the gullet.
Yeah, well,
Basically.
I think the short point being that compliance is basically sticking with the diet, right? If you're gonna do a diet, a lot of diets will work for a lot of different purposes. But if you got it, don't comply with it, it's not gonna work. And so it's more important to develop the habit of eating meat than it is to start worrying about all these other levers to pull, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the foundation, right? Exactly. Building that foundation of getting used to eating meat, all that entails the social, knowing how to order at fast food restaurants, what have you, cooking at home, grocery shopping, cooking for family, seeing other family, the whole thing, right? Because it's life. We're talking about life, and there's a lot of components to it. And I want to prepare people the best that I can for them to, if this is the path they truly want to take. And these is people that have gotten the results, right? And that's the sad part, is that they know how feel it's good. And there's some people that they're like, oh man, I did it 3 months and it was awesome, but I just can't get back there, and it's like, what are you trying to do? And you talk to them and they're trying to do 8 different things at once.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's try to get you outside. Let's try to get your sleep. Let's make a foundation. I don't want you tracking macros. I don't want you
Yeah.
trying to chase ketones.
And
I
let's
want
let's
you
make sure
eating
that
meat.
you're eating enough, right? I
Right.
mean, if you can get a fitness tracker, give you some idea how much energy you're using, you ought to be eating close to that, right? I mean, if you're eating more of a deficit of more like 5 or 10%, it's probably not sustainable. Things are going to go wrong. You're not going to meet your goals. So,
Yeah. I mean, I honestly want people overeating. I really do. I'm that kind of crazy about it, and I'm doing myself as an experiment. I'm
well,
overeating
you
right now.
you are your own special kind of crazy.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Like I said, is this therapy again, or are we shooting a video? It's hard to tell.
it's
Uh,
apparently both.
uh, and I want people, yeah, my message is I want people overeating on animal products, because you will hit a point where your body's just like, we're good, man,
Yeah,
we're
see, and
good.
I'm kind of like, I would shy away from saying that because I don't really want people overeating. I want people to eat a comfortable amount when they eat, right? But of course, like I said before, you can sit down and eat quite a bit more at one time than I can. I just don't enjoy that. So I want people to eat that appropriate amount, but at the end of the day, to be somewhere close to what you're using, and then adjust from there. But definitely keep an eye on eating enough protein and don't use all these tricks to undereat all the time and then expect everything to go well. So,
Definitely. And, have a variety of animals if you can. I think that helps too a lot, to
yeah,
eat more. Each of the animals digest, and each of the cuts of meat, right? So ribeyes, because they're more fatty, are more satiating. And so that might be harder to eat, get enough protein if you're sticking to ribeye, which I know people love. So you could change it up that way too. If you're already carnivore and noticing a few things, maybe it's about changing the cut of meat. Maybe you do need a leaner meat for what your body's trying to do at this time. And at the end of the day, it's not about what me and Tom say. It's about getting in touch with your own body and feeling its own needs. How's your energy? How's your sleep? How are you
How
doing?
are those hunger signals? Are they clear?
Right.
Right. All right. Well, we want to thank everybody for listening or watching, and we hope that you got something out of it, and we hope you can send it on to somebody else who gets something out of it. So leave us your comments. Let us know how much you eat in a day. Let us know if you have any idea how much energy you're burning in a day, because that's always a question I ask people. Is most people have absolutely no idea how much energy they're using, right? And there's a big difference between how much like Justin uses and how much I use. And it was shocking to find out how easy it was to undereat and how quickly that created problems. So until next time, maybe tenderize that like button, leave us a comment, send out the link, eat some meat, and whatever you do,
Don't fall
don't
down the
don't
carb
undereat.
hole.